Well, everyone, the iPhone 17 Pros have just officially came out, so let's go and see exactly how to use the camera on the iPhone 17 Pro series. Now, I will tell you, these types of cameras are very, very good. They're probably some of the best types of cameras you can buy in the market. So if you've never used an iPhone camera before or you're not too familiar, I'll show you exactly how to use it. Now, number one, the layout of the camera is pretty basic, just like most other cameras out there. So number one, you get this triple camera setup pushed out in like the top left corner. So you have it right up there, which is always nice to have. And then you also basically have on the right side a LiDAR sensor and a flash. These two sensors are, this is a flash, it's pretty basic. The LiDAR sensor is one of those ones that you use for AR, VR types of applications. In this case, we probably won't have to use it too much. So now we can get access to the camera a few ways. If you're on the lock screen, you can swipe to the side and get into the camera, or if you're already unlocked your phone, you can access the camera via that top portion right up there. So now you'll basically come into the camera. Now the camera has a couple of components. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera this way, and I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in so we can kind of get a better idea on how this camera application works. Now, number one, you have a couple of cool different tweaks in this camera. So one of the biggest advantages of the iPhone 17 Pro Max camera and the 17 Pro camera is the amount you can zoom in. This iPhone has the most amount of zooming in and zooming out that you can basically get. So to zoom in, you can zoom in with your two fingers and pinch to zoom right here. You can also pinch out to zoom this way as well. Or what you can do is use this slider at the bottom. So you can grab this slider and just like zoom in just like this, or you can zoom out. So this one gives you 40x zoom, like 8x technical zoom, but it gives you 40x zoom in general. That is something that is really cool that you have that type of capability. When you zoom in a lot, it's going to show you this little viewfinder at the bottom right. This is basically going to show you like all those, basically what you're zooming into, but just like a little bit zoomed out so you can kind of get a better idea of what you're zooming in and zooming out of. So that is something that's really cool. Now, if you want to zoom out, you have that zooming out capability. If you tap onto a particular subject like this, it's going to focus in onto that particular subject. So if I tap into right here, I can tap into here. I can lock my focus too if I hold it down. It's going to lock that focus. It's going to say autofocus lock, so it's not going to automatically focus. Now, I can also increase or decrease the exposure. There's a little brightness, like a little toggle next to that square box. I can go and increase it or decrease it depending on what I want to do. And that is something else that's really awesome in this case as well. Now, on top of that, if you look on the bottom half right here, you have a couple of options. This top option right here on the bottom left, you basically go through and get a little area where you can go and see the photos you've just taken. So you can kind of go through, see all the photos that you've just taken there, and that is something that's actually really cool. You can kind of swipe down and basically get out of there. You also have these other options right here. This basically shows you photo and video mode. You can click onto video mode or photo mode, but you can also swipe in between to get into these other areas of this particular phone as well. So you can kind of scroll through and find these other areas right here. So if you want to go into portrait mode, you can click into portrait mode. If you want to go into cinematic or slow mode, you have that type of capability here too. So that is something that's actually really cool. It's there on other iPhones too. On iOS 26, the layout is a little bit newer, so you do have that type of capability here as well. And then you also have this camera button right here. It allows you to go and take a photo. You can also hold down this camera button here if you want to quickly take a video. So you don't have to necessarily just click it to make a video. You can hold it down to make a video too. And that is something else that's really cool. And then at this bottom button right here, that's how you switch from a front camera to the back camera and then back and forth. Now, if you look in the top, you have these two buttons. The one button is the flash button. If you tap on it, it'll quickly toggle on flash and toggle off flash. If you look at the bottom button, if you click there, it's going to open up this new little layout that's going to show up at the bottom or the side. So I'll demonstrate that again. If you click on the bottom right here, it's going to show you this little bottom toggle right there. Now, also, if you're in the standard view here, it's also going to be right there. So everything is still the same buttons. They're just like transported a little bit differently. I think most people probably would end up using their camera this way though. So you can also access that bottom toggle by swiping up from the bottom. So here you'll get a couple more things. You'll get the exposure that you can modify, flash that you can turn on or off, styles, live photo video, aspect, timer as well. So there are a lot of cool things that you can kind of configure from that side as well. So that is another really cool thing that they kind of threw in there too, which is honestly pretty cool. Now, you can swipe between modes by, clicking into another one here and then swiping through. Each video, each option has their own type of unique capability. So you can always swipe up from the bottom if there's any more capability and any more features inside of it. So same thing with video, you zoom in, zoom out, you have these toggles up there that give you more information. And this top portion though up here, they do give you a little bit more options in video. So you can kind of change around your video settings. So you can go from 4K to, you can go to HD to 4K. You can do 4K, I think up to 120 as well, which is something that's really cool. And that is something that's really awesome here. So you can kind of configure the video resolution that you film in, and that is going to be another cool thing that you can kind of throw in there that you can actually use inside of this type of device. So you have that type of capability here too. And same thing with before, you can kind of go through and kind of use your type of device as you normally would. You have this macro toggle here if you want to toggle on or toggle off macro mode. You have that type of capability here too. It's totally up to you. Now, if you swipe up from the bottom, there's a couple of new features. Number one, we have this action mode. It was there before, but now we have action mode. If you're taking a lot of action type of videos or photos, you can go and turn on action mode, and it's going to configure it to basically be shaking up a lot, and it's going to stabilize that video a lot more. Dual capture will allow you to film both the front camera and back camera at the exact same time. So you can film kind of what you're talking about, also what other people are talking about too, which is a really cool feature. On top of that, there's another cool feature called center stage. So if you go under photo, there's this cool center stage capability. If you actually flip it over to the front camera, so I'll go and demonstrate it here. If you flip over to that front camera, so if we tap right into here and we get access to the front camera, there's this cool center stage toggle that's right there that basically allows us to go through and get like an ultra wide camera on that front camera. So you can tap onto there and get an ultra wide camera. You can see it change the layout. And I would recommend trying that out for you because it is a really cool feature and you essentially have that type of capability when it comes down to it. Now, another really cool thing is this camera button. So there's a little camera button on the side of your iPhone. It might be on the top or bottom depending on when which orient you're in. And what you can do is you can go ahead and use this camera button to basically zoom in and zoom out of your particular photo. So that's the advantage of like these newer types of iPhones is that you do have this type of camera button. So if you want, you can click onto it if you want to, and then you can even click into it really hard if you want to actually take a photo. So if you want to, you can go through zoom in and zoom out by sliding up and down, and then you can click into the photo if you want to kind of focus, and then you can take that photo just like this, which is something that's really, really cool. Now, one of the last things I want to show you is not in the camera application, but actually in the settings app. So if you want, I'd recommend going inside of the settings application of your iPhone, like this, swiping up until you find that camera option. So there's more camera settings in the settings application right here. I'd recommend going through here and just kind of getting used to these settings. There's a lot of different settings that you can kind of modify and just kind of change up. The world is kind of your oyster in this situation. You can modify this whichever way you want to, which is something that's really, really cool. So I'd recommend going through here in this camera option, modifying these settings, kind of changing all these things out whichever way you want to. And I do think that right there is another really cool thing that you can kind of change up. So go into here, change up whatever you want to change up, and just get used to kind of modifying these settings when it kind of comes down to it. So in terms of that, that's pretty much how you use the camera on your iPhone 17 Pro or iPhone 17 Pro Max. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.